You beat it by becoming the thing it hates the most. The person who doesn't quit. The person who doesn't give up. That is what losing hates the most. Now let me ask you a question. Is the real you a loser or is the real you a fighter? Is the real you a person who's going to run from the challenge or is the real you going to be a person who confronts the challenge? It looks at it in its face and makes it its bitch. Boom! What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Dawn Uncensored, a place where we talk about mindset, trying to become better and become the version of self that we want to become. Today, ladies and gentlemen, let's hop right into it. Today, I talk about it a lot. I talk about being a conqueror. I talk about being a king, a queen, a conquestor, a victor, a warrior, right? I talk about this all the time, but what really goes into building that conqueror's mindset? What really goes into making you a conqueror? What really makes you into a conqueror? Today, we're going to go over all of that. The first thing that I always think about in any single type of conqueror, whether it be Alexander the Great, whether it be Napoleon, whether it be Hercules, whether it be Odysseus, whether it be any of the great heroes who are ever been inside of fiction or non-fiction ever, they have an unwavering level of tenacity. Here's the thing. With tenacity, that means you have to have an unrelenting and undying will. Your tenacious nature, your unwillingness to quit, your unwillingness to give up has to become part of you if we want to become a conqueror. And why is that? Tenacity will help you beat the thing that most people fear the most. Losing. The people always think that, oh my gosh, what the worst thing that can happen, the business could not work, this could fail, this can fail, this can fail. The thing that people hate the most is losing. That's what they're afraid of. But if you are a conqueror, you understand, as long as you work at something day in, day out, no matter what, and like Alex Hermosi said, do so much work to the point where luck isn't even a factor. If you outwork everyone in your field, if you outwork even yourself sometimes, right, you will be able to achieve any goal that you want to because your tenacious nature will allow you to keep moving forward towards the goal. That is the thing. You beat losing by being tenacious. You beat it by becoming the thing it hates the most. The person who doesn't quit. The person who doesn't give up. That is what losing hates the most. That is what it hates the most. So if you want to become a conqueror, if you want to be like all of these great people who have done great things inside of their life, be tenacious. Don't give up. When the going gets tough, don't just sit it out. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Get up and get to work. Work 3 times harder. That tenacious nature will bring you closer towards your dreams more than any other thing you could do will ever be able to give you in your life. I have an uncle who was born in the slums of Haiti, came to America in his early to late 30s, right? Actually, late 20s, early 30s. Worked his way up, and he is now one of the most successful people I know. And you know what I learned from him the most? That tenacity and undying and unwilling relentlessness will get you to where you want to go more than luck ever will. People think that you getting successful is you getting lucky. No, you getting successful is you having enough tenacity to outwork all the people who quit originally. When you wanted to quit, you became the person who outworked yourself. That's what I mean. To outwork yourself means to outwork yourself on the days you want to quit, on the days you want to give up. That's how you outwork yourself, because those days is when the tenacity has to come through in the most sense. That's when you have to double down. That's when you have to really ask yourself and really understand, is this dream that you want true enough for you to ever give it up? And if it isn't, and if it is something you want to achieve, your tenacity should bring you exactly where you need to be. Number 2, dedication. Dedication is extremely important. Without dedication, you are nothing. Tenacity is one thing to have. Tenacity with no dedication is nothing. That's all it is. You are just a tenacious human being at working at whatever you put your mind to. But tenacity with no dedication to either a higher cause, your calling, your purpose will not do you any type of good. You're not helping yourself at all. To get to where you need to go, you need to be dedicated to that task. You need to be dedicated to the lifestyle that you have to live, to the choices you have to make, to the things you're going to have to do, to some of the actions and consequences that are going to come from the lifestyle that you want. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be dedicated to the fact that you have a goal, you have a dream, you have something that you're living your life for. You have something that you want to achieve, and nobody or nothing will ever be able to take that dream away from you. That's how dedicated you need to be. If you have no dedication to go with your tenaciousness, you just have tenacity. Tenacity with no dedication is nothing. You're looking for somewhere to put your tenacity. But if you combine that tenacity with some type of dedication, with some type of goal, with some type of dream, with some type of something of substance that means anything to you, I promise you, the tenacity that you will see, it will be birthed from something that you will never have seen before in your life, because you are truly dedicated to something. Dedication and tenacity need to go hand in hand for you to be able to get what you need to get out of life. I'm telling you, you have a dream inside of your head. You have something that you want to do. You are meant to be something greater inside of your life. Stop being okay with being average. Stop being okay with that. Be better. Start thinking about all the ideas that you wanted. That's the supercar you wanted, the hypercar you wanted, the relationship you wanted, the man or woman you wanted to be when you looked in the mirror, the way you wanted to feel about yourself, the way you wanted to think, the way you wanted to act, the way you wanted to speak, to dress, to interact with people. Think about who that person was and why you quit on them. Because you had the tenacity, but you didn't have the dedication. Or maybe you had the dedication, but you didn't have the tenacity. You need both of them to go hand in hand to get what you need. For you to get your dream, you have to be not only tenacious, you have to be dedicated. Number 3, you have to be pain loving. What does this mean? You have to love pain. And I don't mean pain as in ouchie, ooh, ooh, ow, ow. No, I'm talking about the pain that makes you kneel down and ask yourself, why the hell am I doing this? Can I even do it? What was the reason for me even starting this in the first place? That is the type of pain you need to be seeking in your life. The reason why is what has come from pain. Pain equals growth. You break a bone, guess what they do? They give you a cast so it can grow back into where it needs to be. Right? You go through that pain. When you're growing up, if you're getting taller, you go through puberty. What do you get? You get growing pains because your body is growing upwards. And because of that, your bones are moving. They might be micro breaking, whatever else they're doing. But you're going through that pain. And what did you get out of it? You either got new height. You might have got, a deeper voice. You might have gotten X. You might have gotten Y. You could have gotten Z. Doesn't matter. You got something from it. That same way that you took on that pain must be the same way that you take on everything in your life. Those moments where you're really getting tested, where those growing pains are really hitting you, where you're really asking yourself, ow, can I really do this shit? You have to sit there and tell yourself, yes, I can. Because inside of that pain, inside of that suffering that you feel inside of your life, you will find who you truly are. In those moments of suffering, in those moments of when you feel like you're going to lose it all, the real you will come out. Now, let me ask you a question. Is the real you a loser, or is the real you a fighter? Is the real you a person who's going to run from the challenge, or is the real you going to be a person who confronts the challenge? It looks at it in its face and makes it its bitch. Are you that type of person? You have to ask yourself that. If you've been running from pain your entire life, you've been making up stories, you've been lying to people, you've been doing all these things because you're trying to make yourself seem bigger than you are, you're not pain loving, you're comfort seeking. That's what you're doing. The person who's going outside every single day and testing themselves against the world, against everything, just seeing if they can make it one more day, just seeing what could be on the other side. That person is more valuable to anybody in their life 10 times over than you ever will be. And the reason why is because they're more willing to go through the pain to grow. You stayed the same because all you're seeking is comfort, because you want to do the same thing in and out. You want to hang with the same people. You want to act in the same way. You want to think in the same ways. You want to eat in the same ways. You want to spend money in the same ways. You want to be the same person every single day because you don't want to step outside of your comfort zone. And guess what? You're going to die in that state. But guess what? Nobody's going to come help you. Nobody will. You want to know why? Because you're surrounded by the other people who are doing the exact same thing. But all of the other people who are chasing the pain inside of life, who are trying to see what's on the other side, to see what maybe the grass could be greener on the other edge of the plane, on the other playing side, those people are going to be the person who grows the most. Those are going to be the people you look at and wonder, how the fuck did they get to where they are? They did it because they decided to take pain. That's why they decided to dedicate themselves to enduring and actually chasing and loving the pain that comes inside of their life. And not because they're a masochist, because they understand that on the other side of that pain is growth, is a goal, is a task, is something that got done because they went through this certain thing inside of their life, and because of it, it made them grow and become either somebody better, understand something better, or act in certain ways that made them better. That's why. For you to be a conqueror, you have to love the pain. Do you think Alexander the Great loved it when Egypt decided to step against him originally when he was trying to conquer all of the Middle East to the Mediterranean? No, he didn't. But guess what? He didn't allow that to stop him. He kept going. He went over that one hurdle, and then he had to conquer another 30 more to get his empire to where it needed to be. If you want to be that same person, you want to be that same Alexander the Great, you want to expand your empire, you're going to have to understand it's going to be painful sometimes what is going to happen. But you have to be okay. You have to love it. You have to welcome it. And you have to step back with open arms and tell it to come into your life. Because the only way you will ever grow inside of your life is by chasing the pain that comes from chasing growth. That's what. You have to be growth loving. That's another thing that comes from it. To be a conqueror, you have to love the growth that comes from something. You have to always tell yourself, I wonder what's on the other side. I wonder what I can do better. I wonder what might happen if I did this better. I wonder what could be if this was done in a better way. What can I do to add to myself to become better? What can I make and streamline to make it better and easier for myself? What are you looking to become better inside of? Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually, financially. What are you looking to become better in? You have to ask yourself that question. Now, you have to understand you're a human being, so you encompass all realms that I was just talking about. So if you're really going to be a conqueror, you're going to have to learn how to become better and chase the growth in every single part of the area of your life, right? You're going to have to understand that you're going to have to become better at every single part of your life, because all of those are going to have to be placed. Those are pawns that you can use in your game that you call life. You become better by learning how to use your skills better, by learning how to move your chess pieces better. You can do that. Right? But guess what? To learn how to move the chess pieces better, to learn how to become a better chess player, to learn how to be able to call checkmate in 1 minute against your opponent, which we call life, you have to understand, you have to love the growth that comes from it. Magnus Carlsen didn't become a good chess player because he just decided to play chess. No, he fell in love with it. He fell in love with the pain of losing. He fell in love with the pain of actually going to games and competing. He fell in love with what he was doing with chess. And because of that, he asked himself, what can I do to become better? I wonder how much farther I can get to. His mindset was all about growth. That's what he did. When Henry Ford was making Ford, when he was building out his multi-billion-dollar empire, do you think he did the same thing? No. He did the exact same thing that Magnus Carlsen did. Every single great person who conquered or did something inside of their life always loved the growth that happened. Why? Because they knew that when they would grow, everything around them would grow. Their thoughts, the people around them, the money they made, the conversations they had, everything they had around them would grow, because they wanted to see themselves get to the top and get to that upper tier echelon that everybody dreams about, but so few make it. You know how they got it? Because they followed 4 of these things. And don't worry, we have 6 more to go. Number 5, you have to be loving. You have to be loving to yourself in the main state. You need to understand you're going to make mistakes. You are going to not be perfect. And guess what? You're human. You're never going to be perfect. No matter how much you try, you will never be a perfect human being. The only person who walked was Christ's Savior, and that's it. That's the only person who was ever perfect who walked this earth. If you are not him, you were never meant to be perfect. But guess what? That's the beauty of life. Not everything is perfect. Not every single building is perfect. Not every house is perfect. Not every car is made perfect. Not every pipe is made perfect. Not every electrical system is made perfect. Not every ant, not every animal, not every whale, shark, not every microbiome, every micro thing, and not even bacteria is made the same. It's not made in the same way. There are mistakes inside of these things. And you need to understand, if you are going to endeavor yourself in becoming a conqueror, you have to be okay with the fact that you are going to make mistakes. But guess what? You have to love yourself enough. You have to love the grind enough and love yourself even more to know that you will get better at the other side as long as you keep learning from your mistakes. Repeating the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity. Albert Einstein said it. Shout out to Roz from Far Cry 3 because he also said that as well. Right? The definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. If you truly love yourself and you truly understood who you are and that you want to become better, you would never put yourself in the position ever again to repeat the same thing. You keep telling yourself you don't want to drink, but every time those friends who drink call you up, you go with them. You keep telling yourself you don't want to smoke, but every time those friends who call you up tell you, hey, let's smoke, you answer the call and you go. You know you're supposed to be working, but instead you're just spending time with a chick when you know you're supposed to be getting something done. Every time she calls, hey, let's hang out, but you know you have a paper due. You know you have something that you need to do. You need to work on your business. You need to be doing something better with your time, chasing your purpose. You answer the call. You put your purpose to the side, you go chase the pleasure. See, if you truly loved yourself enough, you would actually stop yourself from doing those things over and over and over again. But you don't truly love yourself. You love staying in that cycle of repetitiveness. You love staying in that cycle of mediocrity. You don't know it yet, but if you wake up and you actually decide to become better, every time you return to that lowered state of mediocrity, you're gonna hate yourself. Trust me, I do every single time I hit that same state of mediocrity. I hit a boiling point inside of myself where I literally hate myself every day because I know I can become it better. That's truly loving yourself. That's truly loving yourself to the point where you will not accept a certain standard because it does not meet the standard of what you want to get to. If you truly love yourself, you will stop yourself from doing certain things and repeating certain mistakes over and over and over again because you know you deserve better, because you know you can get better, because you know that there is better around you. Number 6 is stoic. You have to be stoic if you want to be a conqueror. Listen, to be a good conqueror, you have to be able to not show emotion in the face of adversity. I don't mean to be a stone-faced killer in every single moment when there's happiness and joy surrounding you. I mean in the face of adversity, you have to know when to keep your emotions in check. You have to know when it is the time to either let those emotions open so that way they can help you move forward inside of life, or move the chess pieces how you want them to be, whether that's letting emotions out with people to get certain things, whether that's letting emotions out with you to let yourself grow and become better, or letting them out with people to become better, to have people hold you accountable. Whatever else it might be, you have to do something, right? You have to be able to turn that switch on and turn that switch off, right? That's the difference between a good person and a bad person. See, watching the show Suits will really show you how that's really good. Case in point, Harvey Specter versus Louis Litt. Harvey Specter is a person who is very stoic by most people's considerations, doesn't show emotions, he acts in certain ways. When he gets in a courtroom, he can make a friend seem like it's somebody he's hated his entire life, because he knows when to switch it on during game time, because he knows when there's moments when he doesn't need to have emotions, right? Louis Litt, he comes in every single case he handles emotional, chip on his shoulder, and every time that chip even gets pushed, even one of his emotional scars gets scratched, he lashes out in emotional outrage, and every time it puts her in a deeper and deeper hole. Guess who would you much rather be? Would you much rather be Lewis, who doesn't have the respect of anybody around them or even the respect of himself? Or would you much rather be Harvey, the person who has the respect of everybody and yourself, and you're confident in you know what you can do because you understand how to actually go in when it's game time, to go into that stone-faced killer mode and when to turn that off? Right? Who would you much rather be? Me personally, I would much rather be the Harvey Specters of the world than be the Louis Litts of the world. And that's me personally. And that's one thing I've ever noticed with every single person who's always been good at getting what they need or becoming greater in every single endeavor. They know when to take the emotions out of the things that don't need it. They know when to take emotions out of business, when out of trading, when out of doing whatever else that they're doing to make money or move themselves forward. They know there are certain points where money or emotions can cannot be mixed or anything else can be mixed. So they take the emotion out of it and they think in the logical sense. Now, if you are an emotional thinker, you will walk into every single time thinking in an emotional way, which will be detrimental to you. That is everything that can happen to you. If you walk into a certain situation, you walk into a business meeting, sit down in front of a chairman and ask him certain things, and he tells you something, and that certain things hits you wrong, and you blow up, say goodbye to that relationship with that person ever again. Especially if it's your first time meeting them. Especially if it's your first time. Now, if you know them for a while, you've been in multiple meetings, you can shoot the shit. You have that relationship. But if you do not, if you put that type of emotion into something that can change people's lives, people will never forgive you. You will never get forgiveness, and you will never forgive yourself. You will keep telling yourself, oh, I'm sorry to these people. But how many sorries will ever make up for that loss that they either took or you took? How many times can you tell yourself that? You have to become stoic. Number 7, you have to be unwavering. You have to be unwavering in your dedication, the tenacity. You have to be unwavering in every single thing that I've already listed before, and everything I'm going to put on this list afterwards. You have to be unwavering in your tenacity, in your dedication, in your loving of pain, in your loving of growth, in your loving of love, in your loving of stoicism. You have to be unwavering in every single one of these endeavors. You have to know that you can weather out the storm. You have to know that these are part of who you are trying to become. If you are trying to become a great conqueror, a great leader, a great person who can do many things inside of their life, who's great at everything that they touch, you're going to have to understand that some of these emotions, some of these things are going to have to become part of you. And every single time that something goes up against you that may make you feel the opposite, you may want to try something against it. I promise you, if you do that one thing, look back and ask yourself, was the consequence worth it? Was the outcome worth it? Even if you got paid, even if you got something good out of it, what was it worth? Was it worth what you had to do for it? Ask yourself that question. Did it go against your character? Did it go against the person you're trying to become? Was it somehow dragging you back to the person that you used to be? You have to ask yourself that question. If you have that unwaveringness inside of you, you'll stop yourself from ever doing anything that doesn't align with who you are. If you are not going forwards while you're trying to become a conqueror, who are you? You're just a foot soldier. You're just somebody taking orders to do something. Whether that's order from somebody else inside of your life, or that's orders from yourself that you can't even follow because you're not even a person who's in control of who they are, right? So if you can't even understand that, how are you supposed to become a conqueror? And a conqueror is an unwavering figure. This person, you can rely on them. They are steadfast. They are steady. Every single person wants to be that person in either their own life or in somebody else's life. Me personally, I want to be a person who is good in every single facet of everything I touch. Whether that's philosophy, wisdom, motivation, speaking, editing, video editing, photography, videography, everything I want to make. Clothes, brands, videos, music, anything I touch, anything I want to be, I have to be good at it because that's the type of person I want to be, right? And my unwavering dedication to that makes me into who I am today. Makes me into somebody who wants to chase these things, who wants to become better in every single endeavor that I take on in life, right? Because of that unwavering discipline, that unwavering resolve to be that person, no matter if I even get set off track, I will still somehow always end up back into where I was before because I have that unwavering dedication to get to that goal. I have that unwavering tenacity to get to that goal. I have the tenacity, the dedication to do it. I have the love of growth to do it. I have the love of pain to do it. I have the love of loving myself to know I'll make mistakes to do it. I have the loving of stoicism to know that sometimes my emotions don't need to be involved to do it. I have that unwavering desire, that unwavering burning feeling inside of myself to get to something that I want to go to become somebody that I want to go to become somebody who I really want to be. That is really what I want. That is my entire dream inside of my life, is to become the person who I fully and actually materialize every single day inside of my head. That is who. That is the person who I want to become. And because of that, I have to have an unwavering dedication, an unwavering level of tenacity, and everything I've ever said in this list to become that person. You have to have that unwavering everything to be the person you want to be inside of your own life. Let's talk about the last 3 on this list. Discipline, faith, and fun. First of all, discipline, number 1. Discipline. Putting yourself in a position where you never have to ever test that is something that's going to be very important. To be disciplined means that you can get something done even when you don't want to do it. Today I didn't want to go to the gym and go do legs, but guess what I did? I still went and did legs. And guess what? I PR'd, just did a 600-pound squat. Pat myself on the back for doing that, right? That's something that I would never have been able to do unless I was disciplined. I never would have been able to acquire the body that I have right now if I was not disciplined. I would never be able to acquire the mindset that I have right now if I was not disciplined in my own thoughts. I would never have the habits that I do right now unless I was not disciplined in everything else inside of my life. Disciplinary action will bring you to where you need to go. Because see, here's the thing. Everybody who's average works off of their emotions. They don't work off of has-beens, of standards, of goals that need to be met and non-negotiables. The people who are at the upper echelon of where everybody in the 99% wants to be, they have non-negotiables. They have goals. They have standards. And they are not willing to waive those. They are willing to be disciplined even on the days they don't want to. And they knew what they could achieve. They were non-negotiables with their dreams. Their dreams became non-negotiables. See, everybody acts like their dreams are negotiables because that's how they've been programmed to be. The people who get to the top always tell themselves, my goals have never been out of reach. My goals are actually something that are always within reach because that's the type of person I am. I can put my hand out and I can grab anything I want because that's the type of person who I am. And the way that they got that is by becoming disciplined. And now you're sitting here trying to become a person who's, very goal driven, trying to become and achieve their dreams while you have never ever in your life before ever been somebody who's disciplined. You're trying to reach for 1,000 stars and you've never been disciplined enough to even reach for a grain of sand on the beach. Why are you reaching for the stars yet when you haven't even worked your way up to even getting to the rocket ship yet? You're still in training. Go through the training. Make yourself become disciplined. Become so disciplined that anything trying to move you off your track, you literally stop yourself and go, why are you still in my life? Why are you still here? That's the question you should be asking yourself if something is trying to move you off of your discipline, especially if you've already let that thing know about it, or if that thing is something that you can just get rid of outright because you just kept it around, right? If it is pulling you off of your goal of becoming disciplined and who you are, it does not need to be there. Because until you get to who you need to be, until you get to the dream that you want to, everything else that even comes in front of you will be a distraction to what really matters. And that's obtaining the goal. That's obtaining the dream. That's becoming the person you want to be. That is becoming the thing you want to be. That is getting the thing that you want. That is everything that you chase in your life. Your goal is on the other end of becoming disciplined. So become disciplined. Not only become disciplined, become faithful. I'm not saying faithful in you gotta believe in the Most High, you gotta believe in a God. If you do, that's great for yourself. Be faithful in you. In what you can do. Be confident in the things that you can always do because your skill set is something that can't be replaced. Your thinking, your ways of doing, nothing can be replaced. Every single person is a business in their own right, whether they know it or not. Every single person is a great being, whether they know it or not. Every single person is a conqueror, whether they know it or not. Right? But the conqueror side inside of you just has to be awakened. It just has to get to a certain point where it just literally becomes you. That's how it has to become, right? And the way that you get to that point is by keeping faith in yourself. Again, like I said, the dedication goes with it, but dedication with no faith won't get you anywhere. You're being dedicated, but you're losing that faith, that drive, that knowing of like, okay, maybe it's getting a little windy, it's getting a little stormy, but I still have faith in myself to get through the storm because I've seen what's on the other side. Now, again, if you love pain and you love growth, then this should never become something that ever, even topples you, because you will always have the faith to know that every time you've ever been in pain, anytime you've ever had to go through a storm, anytime you've ever had to weather anything out inside of your life, you have always made it through. But you know how you get to that point? Being disciplined. If you're disciplined, all of these come with it. Then you start being able to have that confidence in yourself. Then you start building that faith, that backbone, that trust in who you really are, and letting yourself be able to be who you truly are, becoming the conqueror, having faith in this is exactly who you are and becoming unwavering, and that is your being. That is how you build your faith, by becoming disciplined. There's a reason why everything follows in a great order, right? For your tenacity to even work, you gotta have the dedication right after it. And for dedication, you gotta love the pain. And for loving pain, you gotta love the growth. And to love the growth, the pain, the dedication, tenacity, you gotta love yourself, because you are going to make mistakes. Because you love yourself so much and you understand that sometimes emotions don't need to be involved, you also love becoming stoic, knowing that sometimes, okay, I need to turn my emotions off. Sometimes it's okay to let my emotions out. Becoming stoic in that sense, right? Then you become unwavering. You love the fact that you're unwavering. You love the fact that nothing moves you off your pivot. Nothing can ever shake you. Nothing ever moves you or even just makes you rattle at all, because that is who you are. Then you become disciplined, right? You become disciplined in everything you do. Your gym, your diet, your sleeping, your reading, your being, your emotional talks, your mental talks, the people you're around, everything around yourself. You just feed yourself nothing but goodness and growth to just be around you. Everything else. And guess what that builds? Faith. That builds faith in who you are. That builds faith in everything that you do. That builds faith in becoming the conqueror that you want to be, that you have always been destined to be, and every single person on this earth is destined to be. That is who. And the last thing, fun. At the end of the day, life is meant to be fun. Life is meant for you to enjoy it. Yes, I always talk about becoming a conqueror, but the reason why I say that is because becoming a conqueror to me is fun. Being a conqueror to me is fun. I don't like doing the 99 average percenter things. I like doing the 1%er things. I like doing all the other things that most people wouldn't think about. I want to do those things. And I might not have it at this certain amount of time, but guess what? At one point in my life, I will obtain it, because that's what I want, right? I have fun in this. I have fun going in the gym. I have fun making videos. I have fun chasing pain. I have fun having hard conversations. I have fun in everything that makes me, everything that makes me grow. I became obsessed with this mindset. That's really what it became. I shifted my identity so hard that this is literally who I am now. There's no way you can take it out of me. There's certain qualities inside of this that I don't even think you'd ever be able to take out of me ever again in your life, because that's just who I am. I made it fun. I actually started enjoying what was going on because I saw what was going from it. If you don't enjoy this, you're never meant to be a conqueror. If you never had fun in any of this list, and I really find that hard to believe, because the most fun thing to do as a human being is to grow. Staying the same is the shittiest feeling as a human being. So knowing that you're growing is the most fun thing that you can ever get to as a human being. And being a conqueror is being somebody who is not only chasing constant conquest and domination, but also somebody who is constantly chasing growth to become better, to learn how to become better at conquesting and dominating. So if it's not fun to you, then what was the point of becoming a conqueror? So at the end of it all, being a conqueror has to be fun for you. It has to be fun at the end of the day, because otherwise you will hate your miserable existence. If you don't have fun while doing this, it wasn't meant for you. I'm sorry, you were meant to be somebody else or do something else. If you master this entire list, it's pretty easy to say you'll be a conqueror. I'm done.